What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here. Pharah is back in the meta in a big way, but she has a new playstyle which is quite different from the previous guides that I've made on Pharah. I think a lot of players are still stuck in the assumptions of Pharah before her buffs that happened a few patches ago, and aren't really utilizing the skill set that she can have now to be wherever she wants to be. But the question is, do you know where she wants to be? Because you have the mechanics in your character to be there, but where does that mean exactly? So right here, I take out the turrets and I see the Hitscans coming to my left side, and I try to dig into the fight as best as I can in order to avoid the Hitscans while dealing damage on my way out. And as you see, as we flow through this engagement, my Genji friend, of course, Liam or Weagle, who's a great Genji, is just mopping up everything that I'm shooting. So that's kind of the key. Pharah is a main damage dealer in that she sets up opportunities for damage to be followed up on because she gives that big burst of damage. Now, keep in mind, this isn't even really me and Liam communicating in order to make these plays happen. It actually is just he physically can see where the rockets are going, where they're hitting, and knows to focus those targets as well. Now, it's luckily enough when you have a buddy who you have good synergy with. We've played games together for a long time, so we kind of know where each other's head's at when we're in the middle of the game. But I want to look back into my decisions here about where I go and why in order to contrast actually to the enemy team's Pharah when I'm on defense. So, as soon as I fly over the top here, I try to find a position, a zone, where I can inflict maximum punishment without getting wrecked myself. I don't want to take any damage if I can help it, because I think far too many Pharahs are used to just the security blanket of being pocketed by a Mercy or a healer, but that's not going to help you if you constantly think that that's how you're supposed to play. Far better is to set yourself up to take no damage yourself and inflict as many impactful shots that you can from that position. Of course, Symmetra value is some of the easiest value to remove in the game as far as I'm concerned. We made a few videos about this. I'm not going to belabor the point. Shoot the turrets. She's half of a character as soon as they're dead. And as I feel the pressure of the Hitscan coming behind me, I get the heck out of dodge. I don't even want to duel him yet. I want to try to deal damage to establish a fight on the front line, and I'm able to get away. We get the frag. McCree's far too slow going around the bend, and the speed and the momentum of which this fight is fought at makes it that even though McCree sort of counters me, that he can shoot me mid-air, he's far too slow to be in the engagement where he needs to be. I can just swim around this big piece of cover, and he can't be where he needs to be fast enough. In order for him to chase me, he would have to do the full run around the bell tower in the center of this point to even touch me. And the small nuance of me avoiding his contact allowed for my value to be inflicted onto the rest of the team at the front line. And of course, you can imagine if McCree was on the right side, I would have just stayed on the left side, shooting there, just taking what the defense gives me. Now we're going to compare to the defensive side, where of course I'm playing Soldier now, but we want to focus on what the enemy team's Pharah is doing. We end up fragging out here and the Pharah limps away, and this team fight was pretty easy. Unfortunately, the push by the enemy team was a bit disorganized. The Sombra did make it into EMP us, but there was not really the follow-up there. It was disjointed, and the initiation was a little bit offset. If they waited for the range damage initiation from the Pharah at an off angle somewhere to open up that fight first, maybe they would have better success, but you can't just expect to EMP the enemy team and then it be easy street from there on, because ranged Hitscans like Soldier can just still shoot you. So I get slept on this outside, and Liam starts to clean up things underneath. The res does come in, but look at the positioning that this Pharah keeps taking. Every single time I'm in a fight with her, she's in the most obvious spot in front of me. Here she's even inside for who knows what reason, not utilizing the fact that she could be wherever she wants to be. Be creative with that positioning. Be in spots that are hard for me to get to, not inside a doorway. If you're ever finding yourself inside of a doorway or even getting Roadhog hooked, you're playing Pharah wrong. She can fly so high up in the air, how can you let Roadhog hook you? That's a massive misplay. Here she just nonchalantly flies over the top for me to be able to shoot her over the clear blue sky. If she takes her time and carefully removes the turret on the right side first, then hovers over the right side to dance around my line of sight, she'd see better success. But instead, she's playing one of the most squishy characters in the game, like a dive hero. And as far as you can't be taking contact like that. You want to avoid contact at all costs. You're not like Genji, who can just bail himself out with a quick reflect. Pharah has to use smart FPS positioning in order to keep herself alive, because yeah, she has some mobility, but she's one of the easiest hitboxes to hit in the entire game. Like Zenyatta, easiest support to hit in the game. Pharah is one of the easiest squishy characters to hit in the game. And if you're going to be shooting rockets and spamming at the choke, you might as well be playing Hanzo. Yes, I said that. I didn't stutter. Hanzo would have been better for her in that position. If you're playing Pharah to just stand at the choke and shoot these ranged projectiles, you're not utilizing the character for what her biggest strength is, and that's perfect positioning with her ability to fly where she wants to be, and that's what the thrust buff a few patches ago did for her. Here now we're playing on Numbani. As I'm waiting for my team to set up, I'm just setting up a little bit of poke damage here at the front, waiting for us to get together. We don't have a Lucio here for whatever reason, so we're gonna have to make sure that our dive is well executed to the perfect target. Liam sees that there's a soldier at the top right by himself. With the combination of my ranged burst damage, his leap, and his Tesla cannon, we're able to focus him down immediately, and then it's off to the races. Here's some incredibly bad Pharah prediction. When you get in that situation and you're missing Pharah shot after Pharah shot, slow down. Don't keep forcing your shots out like this. It's great to kill things fast, but with a lot of these skill shot characters, in fact, just about all of them that I can think of, don't force a shot you don't have. Take your time to read the animation of the character of where they're going, lead your target, and trap them in a spot where you can guarantee damage, even if you have to dive them in that instance. If you're missing that many shots, slow down, get closer if you have to, get guaranteed damage on target, and don't keep going for these money connections, because otherwise you just miss over and over like I did. But luckily, we won the early fight so well that I could afford to miss a few shots, thankfully, though it is embarrassing to see it happen. Last stretch of footage here that I'm going to show you is the last point of Nepal, battling out to try to win this best of 5. Gonna need a clutch performance. And here I think I do a pretty good job at being at the right place at the right time and avoiding damage altogether. That's the best way to play Pharah. You want to be able to rain damage from afar, which, if you want more specific tips on that, I'm going to say that you should look over to the description so you can see the other Pharah guides that I've made in the past. But the more interesting thing about Pharah's new playstyle is her ability to hold the position that she needs. You really don't have an excuse to be getting caught out as Pharah anymore, because she has some of the best movement in the game. When you have cover spots, when you can find the blind spots of your enemy at awkward angles that they can't really afford to be looking at, that's your home as Pharah. That's where you want to be staying and finding throughout the chaos of the fight. And the longer that you're able to not take damage yourself and carefully land your own rockets, the value will come naturally from following that basic skill set, and you'll find the impact you're looking for. Now, sometimes the enemy team is just too good for you to be able to do your little shenanigans, but that's okay. You shouldn't consider a Pharah an instant pick anyway. But the truth of the matter is, hey, there, I said it, finally in this video. You knew it was coming eventually. The truth of the matter is, if you play Pharah good enough, she could be a nightmare even for Hitscans. It's all about her ability to move and navigate through the map. At this point of the game, they go Soldier and McCree in order to try to counter me. But honestly, even that isn't as good, because although Pharah has a slow-moving projectile, her range damage is simply better than both of those heroes. So if you are accurate enough to lead your shots from far away where they need to be and avoid damage entirely, there's very little that these Hitscans can do to you. The best answer to Pharah right now is a Widowmaker, because you can assign that one character to deal with her from afar. And even Ana, because her burst of 80 damage is quite more significant than the dramatic fall-off that Soldier and McCree have. Even so, when Pharah is able to pounce her hit-scanned foes effectively, it can be terrifying for one of these medium-range hit-scan players, because they know they can get 2-shot from you, and they have to hit their shots quickly, which can be scary for you as the Pharah player, but the way you counteract that is by perfect movement and utilizing the terrain to make it uncomfortable for the ground-based hit scan to navigate into a fight against you. That's the key to the new Pharah playstyle as far as I can see it. Anytime Pharah's back in the meta, I'm a happy boy. She's one of my best heroes in the entire game of Overwatch, and actually one of the heroes that I think is misunderstood the most, because a lot of players seem to nonchalantly play her, like the example that we used earlier. So respect the Pharah, ladies and gentlemen. Utilize that terrain, don't take damage, and rain justice from above. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. It really does help us out. Let us know that you're enjoying the content. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We upload each and every day, so be sure to hit the bell bell icon to make sure that you get notified when our videos go live. Linked in the description is our Twitter, Discord server, and Twitch stream. I'm finishing up my full-time job to do YouTube full-time, so there'll be a heck of a lot more Frito on the live stream for you to laugh at my pain as I struggle to implement the things I know about the game. I'm not that good of a player, okay? Don't laugh at me. Okay, you can laugh. Just kidding. That's been it for me, guys. It's been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.